Yesterday, I visited the power line corridor where demolitions were carried out recently along AIT Road, and the following are my observations firsthand. First, I noticed that truly some of the first section where demolition was initially carried out are already being rebuilt. And I also noticed that even those that are being rebuilt, some of them are being marked for removal again. I also noticed signposts stating that some of the agencies of federal government are already taking possession, like physical possession of some of the properties to own them for some project. I noticed also that a mosque I learned belonging to East Jabba that the demolition started was stopped and it continued to stay. I also noticed another church at the AIT roundabout is also left to continue its operation. I also noticed that some bars are beginning to spring up again, allowed to continue operation, no marking. Similarly, I noticed some car lots are still in operation and have continued their activities. But here's my preliminary remark before I even go further. All of us know, even if we didn't know prior now, from the Ola of Lagos story, that power line corridor is under regulation, strict regulation. It simply means that you can't just go there and occupy it. You must have been given a provisional allocation to use the place under certain categories. It simply means that even if you are given allocation to use space under the power line, it is provisional. It is not for you to go and erect permanent structure. Now, that simply means you can't build residential apartments under the power line, but you can be given under some categories for use. Examples such as the car lots, such as people want to use it for certain kind of, like mechanic workshop and other kind of things like that. They can be allowed. It simply means they are provisional or temporary structures that are movable. Meaning that when the government is ready to eject you, they will give you notice and ask you to move, that they want to come and do, or they can even ask you for renewal. Blocks definitely means you are erecting something permanent because blocks are not movable. So most of those who built with blocks that are not by government itself, I understand they can demolish those ones. But the movable things, they can ask you remove it or renew your provisional allocation. And to grant that is also discretionary. However, the church, the mosque are built with blocks. But I also understand that they may have gone to discuss the provisional allocation to continue to extend their use of the space. I can excuse the church and the mosque that they are not residential, but I still do not understand whether churches and mosques are permitted under the power line. I'm still seeking further information about that while I continue to investigate. I have not spoken till now with anybody in government. I'm just using information publicly available so far, combined with my on-site findings that permanent structures were demolished. Some containers were still allowed to continue, like I saw a block molding factory there, and I saw a cement retail outlet there. It's inside a container. I think they left them. But I'm sure they must also still be subject to rediscussion of their provisional allocation. But this is where I have issue with the government. Most of the people whose structures were demolished are in pains because they didn't really understand the suddenness. We owe it as government to our people to educate them, to understand. Government, I feel, should define their relationship with their citizens. The same way politicians educate the most illiterate, either in the market or on the streets. The way you comb the streets when you walk up and down to talk to people, the way they know you in and out during electioneering campaign is the same way during governance that I expect that relationship should continue. It is not that after gaining power, you then go and retire into the office. They just see tractors and bulldozers. What does it take to carry people along? The same way you carry them along when you are campaigning to them. Can we just maintain the same way of carrying people along in our governance? A town hall, for instance, is not bad. Radio jingles is not bad. The same way you hire speaker and DJs, you can go into market, delegate some people to enlighten them as to why they have to leave the power line or go to the local government to renew their allocation papers. These people talk to you when you are campaigning. They see you, they feel you, they touch you. But after gaining power, they talk to tractors and bulldozers. That is not how government should be. We need to define between relationship of government and citizen versus bandits and prey. These people are not prey. They are your citizens. I know people who started building only a month earlier than the demolition. If they knew, for instance, that this was coming, they would not have done the building at all. Why make your citizens waste hard-earned resources? That is where my grouse is. Communication. The same manner you have been communicating with these people and carrying them along such that they can identify you, your party, your logo on the ballot. It's the same way you should carry them along so that they understand your policies. Not that they will be hearing that, they said, we heard. No. They are confused. They don't know what to believe or what to follow. Carry them along. Some even said they just paid some renewal. They just paid some arrears you asked them to pay. And suddenly, you demolish them. Nigerians don't deserve a government that behaves, because it is only under banditry that people will say, oh, they are coming. Hey, everybody starts running. That is not government. That is the behavior of bandits. But in all, we must continue to educate the masses too. Again, we take it up by ourselves. Wherever the government feels, we assume the sense of duty and responsibility to educate people by ourselves. We just fill in the gap, because government in many cases just leaves a lot of gaps. So in conclusion, the use of power line is under authorization, and people should seek proper authorization and also understand what they are signing when they are signing it. For instance, permanent structures or residential buildings are not expected under power line. If you are given a provisional allocation to use, you must understand the terms therein so that you understand your rights and where it has limits, and then you can be guided accordingly. Citizens should also be assisted in cases they are about to go outside of what is expected of them, making a lot of people spend millions, and before they could even use, you demolish. It's not exactly what I think we should. Not a time like this, where things are easy, let's not say the other way around, that you'll now be making people waste their hard-earned resources. That's exactly my grasp. Otherwise, we should also educate our people. Use of power line corridor is provisional. Do not, if in case you are anywhere else, apart from AIT Road or anywhere in the country, do not erect permanent structure or residence, like residential buildings or apartments, under the power line. It's for provisional use, and they have categories under which they authorize use. I'll continue to bring you updates. Thank you very much, everybody.